We have got paper 1, question 5, it's the method in context. Now, I know some students don't like doing this because it's hard to get your head around, and even some teachers don't even like it. But once you know what you're doing, it is actually easy marks. Okay, so I'm going to show you how. So here's the question. It will look the same every single time that you see it. It will start with method in context at the top. The context is education, so don't be writing examples from crime or the family or the media or any other topic. You've got to be thinking in the education context. It will also always give you an item as well, and at the top of it, it will tell you the context that you've got to be writing about. And then you've got the question, which basically will tell you what to do. It's your instructions. So you've got to evaluate, so strengths and limitations of the method, in this case field experiments, to investigate this context. Teacher labelling of pupils. Now, I've just noted down that to effectively answer this question, you've got to include in your paragraphs these 3 things: the how, the what, and the who. You need to include the method, the context, and the people that are going to take part in the research. Now, the item gives you clues about this. So the first part of the item is always about the context. And you'll be familiar with this because you'll have done this in one of your education topics. Now, also in this top part of the item, they will tell you who might take part in this research as well. So in this case, we have got our teachers, okay? And we've also got our pupils as well. Okay, so they've given you the hints that you need to be talking about these people because they're going to be taking part in this research. And then in the second part of your paragraph, you are always going to be given information about the method, and they will give you some advantages and disadvantages to get you started. And I would advise you use those, but then whilst you're doing it, apply it to the context and who you're researching. Here's an example of a paragraph using the how, what, who, so the method, the context, and the people that you're researching. So we might say a weakness that a field experiment is that it may cause long-term harm, and we need to put it in the context of teacher labelling. So the field experiment in the effect of teacher labelling, like in Rosenthal and Jacobson's study, means that the control group, those that weren't identified as asperter, may not be labelled positively by their teachers. And who are we talking about? So this might have a long-term effect and lower the self-esteem of the pupil in the control group, and may even cause low achievement, suggesting there is a long-term effect of a field experiment. Here's a second example paragraph, again using the how, the what, and the who. So we could say another weakness of field experiments is that we can't control all the variables. What? As we want to establish the effect of teacher labelling in the field experiment, we cannot be sure if the intervention or the manipulation of the variable had the effect. For example, an increase in teachers' expectations, positive teacher labelling, has actually led to high achievement. Who's it going to affect? Well, the pupils in the field experiment may have had additional tutoring, such as middle class pupils, or they might have just put more effort in or had more access to resources, so material resources, at the time of the field experiment. So we cannot be sure if labelling had the effect or these things. So both of these examples have shown how you have linked the method to the context, and you included some of the people that you could be researching and their characteristics. Remember, when you're answering these questions, your paragraph should be structured, including the how, the what, and the who.